All right, guys.
Mm.
It's going to be a good one.
So much has happened.
Jay's not here, but I'll do the intro. And we're live from Fondren Library. Just kidding. We're actually in the Weber End Zone complex.
Yeah, you might be able to look out the window behind us.
I know, and see a little bit of the stadium. It's pretty cool. We are here with Bryan Filker. He's been on the show before. Director of Recruiting? Operations.
Yeah, sneaked a little back in.
Okay, all right. Very nice. So super excited to have you here, just to hear a nice update on how things are going, and what recruiting is looking like, what operations are looking like for SMU, for all the above, for SMU football.
Whatever you can share.
Awesome.
Yeah. So how's it going?
Great, man. I appreciate y'all having me back. I think
Absolutely.
I could be totally wrong here, but I think I might be the most frequented returning guest.
You are.
I checked my little punch card. I think one or two more times I get a free White Rock coffee.
That is,
I've
yep.
heard.
I think if you show up enough, you get one of these hats.
I've heard that as well.
That's how I
Those
got
are,
mine.
those are out of production. Yeah, we may have to to bring it back just for you.
Just for the OGs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that George is an official member,
Yeah, he doesn't count
he's no
anymore.
longer a recurring guest.
Welcome, George.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
Congratulations. That's big time.
Yeah. So, as the director of operations, did you know that Scott was leaving? Or can we talk about that?
I found out when the rest of the team found out. It was really powerful to see. I guess the quarrel that he had, within.
Oh, I mean,
before making that decision, or I guess once the decision was made.
the internal struggle must have been nuts.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean he's obviously done an incredible job for us, right?
Yeah.
Like he has really made it to where we play defense at SMU now, right? Like there was the longest time, like, you get in a shootout, right? You think about the Houston game several years back, where it was
That game was awesome.
where we scored more in the football game than they did in the basketball game that year.
It was
Just
77 to 63, if I recall.
That was
I'll
incredible.
never forget that game ever.
But I'm sure Coach Simons was not happy at giving up that,
I'm sure,
that kind of point score there. But no, it was incredible just seeing what he has poured into the program, to see really the shift and the change in the mentality, right? And it became, to quote little Jarvis Landry here from back in the day, if anyone remembers, it's contagious, bro.
Yeah.
Like you see the energy, right? It becomes contagious. You see the swarm mentality. You see the guys coming to the ball. You see playing for each other, right? The sacrifice that comes into play, and everyone kind of learning and understanding their role and how it plugged into the bigger picture. So, it's bittersweet because you're happy for him.
Yeah,
He gets
we're
an
happy for him.
opportunity, right?
So, I mean, it's a good move for him. He still gets to stay here. It's cool.
It's rare that you end up in a spot too where you take the next level in a job, you don't have to move,
Yeah,
right?
that is rare.
Where he's located. It's like, oh, cool, you just go to Frisco and
that's a good
Arlington
deal.
to make it work. But we're really excited too to have Coach Crum and Coach Hunley take those next steps. Like I don't know if y'all saw in the X, but I have actively ran through a few walls for these guys. They're incredible leaders and men. They do a great job, not only through the recruiting process, right? Like they're heavily involved in what everything looks like from recruiting, but also once these guys are here, not just mowing them on the field, but what they do for them off the field.
Yeah.
Both incredible husbands, incredible fathers, and incredible coaches. So really excited to see what everything looks like moving forward with them.
Yeah.
What do you think it has to say just about the culture and the program that, like, when someone so pivotal and like such a key member of the program leaves, and we don't have to go out and hire someone, like it's all just being, the gaps are being filled from within.
Promotions.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's incredible, and it says a lot about what Coach Lashley has really kind of established being here, right? And if you think about it from all lenses, right, you've had incredible journeys of growth from the coaching tree. You've seen, analysts or GAs, elevate to quality control or to position coaches and things of that nature. Now elevating to coordinator status, and even within the support staff roles. Like when I first started, I was a volunteer, right? I volunteered my first year. Jeremiah Waite volunteered here the first year, and now we've elevated to director roles. So you see the ability to really grow. We've seen Bailey Bennett elevate in role. We've seen Brittany Doan elevate in roles. We've seen now Anna Claire elevate in roles. And it's just been really incredible to see all the people in the building that if you do things the right way, right, if you buy in and you're a good person, you work hard, you can control those controllables, right? It's incredible to see that self-growth, right? Yeah. And from time to time, you want to get some fresh blood in the building too, right, to get new ideas.
Yeah.
But it's really powerful to see that you don't have to really look that far, right?
I bet it's huge to attract like good talent too, knowing that like for the talent to know like, hey, I can grow here like effectively. I can move on to the next level here within the program.
Absolutely. And just we've done it, on the field, right? You make the jumps from the American to the ACC and the steps we've made in that regard, in the facility investment, right? In the entire school and where we're going from enrollment to even like our team academic number, like all the different raw metrics you can look at, like growth, especially from that internal growth, it's there.
Yeah.
So it definitely helps attract top talent, and you get a spot too where it's like no one wants to leave, right? You're turning up opportunities, and that's something we, pulling back there to Coach Simons. I can't tell you how many jobs he probably turned down over the past few years, right?
Oh, I'm sure.
But you finally get an opportunity that makes all the sense in the world, and it's awesome. You're really happy for him at the end of the day.
Yeah, and now we get to attract guys like Coach Dodge and Coach Ward, like just top end talent out of the high school level because, they want to come here.
Absolutely, it's incredible, and I think you're seeing a little bit across college football as well. Some of those individuals making those next steps up from the high school to college ranks. So it's really awesome that, Coach Dodge and Coach Ward both have a ton of respect for throughout the past several years trying to recruit young men from their school, getting to have them as part of the fold. And you bring another perspective too, right? Of what's it look like from a high school perspective? How should we go about recruiting the high schools? Does it make sense to, come during this time of the year? Does it make sense to invite them to spring practices? Does it make sense to get them out to games? Like, what are the things that the coaches really care about at that level? And how can we really tailor everything on our end to make sure we're getting the best and most out of the experience with interacting with high school coaches? Yeah.
I guess we should get into the recruiting side. I mean, that's got to be huge having like guys like Coach Dodge and Coach Ward who just, they played for state national titles and everything like that. I mean, what's that got to mean for like recruiting for these guys, for high school players?
No, I think it just instills a lot of credibility, right? If you've got individuals that have operated at those levels wanting to join our program, right? I think it says to high school coaches around the area that respect them, know and trust them, right? Like whether it's through THSCAs or AFCAs or these different conventions you get to, or the chalk talks or the clinics, right? They have built a lot of positive, the right word I'm looking for, like positive reserves, rapport throughout the state. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. So that when these folks are coming through, or, the kids are coming through with their parents, they understand who that individual is. They saw what they did at that level and saw that, okay, they want to take the next step. It becomes exciting, right? It's honestly really powerful, and they've been great so far to work with. They're really hungry to go out and recruit. Like, there's not even a question about, hey, can we sit down and watch film? Like, let's bring it. Like, let's do it. So it's been really refreshing seeing them come in and having the passion that they do.
Yeah.
So I was wondering, obviously when Coach Lashley came to SMU, there was a big turn up on the focus of like, let's be the number one recruiter in DFW and in Texas. And then I feel like we've started to maybe branch out a little bit, grabbing from other states. Obviously, a lot came from Florida and Miami. But it seems like these hires, like, obviously they're good, just like technical hires. But it also seems like we're kind of like doubling, tripling down on just like owning recruiting here. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah, I think it makes all the sense in the world to win your backyard, right? Especially when your backyard is the Metroplex, the DFW. I think there's so much incredible talent. There were some stats that came out. I'm looking at, I believe it was Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, and there's one other of these NFL awards that all came within 40 minutes of Dallas, right? So, you have incredible talent that is right here and homegrown, and you have a lot of opportunities to get them on campus, right?
The NFL MVP came from 5 minutes from here.
Okay, that's what it was. So we've got
Matthew Stafford.
So Matthew Stafford, Miles Garrett, and Carson Swessinger. So like those three, right, all within the Metroplex here.
Jackson Smith and Jigba, Seahawks. He's from Metroplex too, off the top of my head.
So you've got all this incredible talent that's here, right? And if you're in contention, you're in play with that. So like, in the past, looked at when we first got here, okay, how do you really sell that vision, right? And I think we talked about this in the past. Like, you need to have the infrastructure, you need to have the facilities, you need to have the opportunity to play on a national stage, right? All those boxes are kind of checked. And now we're in a spot where like, hey, we've done that, right? Now we're in a spot, how do we go from, our mantra this year is from good to great, right? How do we kind of elevate that? And if you look at some of the, the opportunities you have to get folks on campus, right? When we go throughout our processes, you try to think of as many times you get them here. That's great for recruiting, right? Because you have more and more touch points, more and more opportunities to show them different things, right? Whereas if you're recruiting a kid from, I don't say Ohio, right? Just arbitrarily thrown out there. Shout out to Ohio, if anybody's listening. Pick somebody from Ohio. You got to think about all logistics coming to traveling to get out here for a game, right? So you might get them on campus one time, and just looking at the numbers of it's kind of a tougher sell in some regards to, hey, you get them out here one time, you got to show them everything. As opposed to if you're nurturing a relationship with someone from 5 minutes down the road, you know what I mean? From the time they're coming from summer camps working out to maybe something with a 7-on-7 team for a group visit, or coming with their high school to a game, or the spring games, whatever it is. Like, you have opportunities to show them so many different things and really start to gain that trust and respect that they have from not only from them, but from their parents. Find out who the decision makers are, the champions, we like to call it, right? So if you can identify these kind of things over the course of time, there's not that pressure to be like, oh, hey, man, I only got Chris here one time. I got to throw everything out there.
Yeah.
Good, sending the house in NCAA,
Yeah.
right? That's great in theory, but does it actually translate? Does it actually convert? And from what we found, the more touch points you have on campus, the better opportunities you have to get these guys.
Yeah, that's good. How do you feel about, now that, it's just been announced that we're going to be playing LSU and OU in a big stadium, like, how is that impacting recruiting, knowing that these guys are going to be able to come in and play in like an NFL level environment right here in the Metro?
Yeah.
On a big stage.
No, absolutely. I think it's an incredible opportunity, right? And that's something we've talked about too. How do you, big time players make big time plays on big time stages, right?
Yeah.
So, we've talked about the primetime opportunities and everything that's come with the ACC, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thinking about being featured so many times on the ACC network, or being featured on ESPN, or whatever it is, right? So you look forward to these opportunities to perform on a national stage. Even upcoming this next year, Florida State on that Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
So prime
We're like
time,
the only game.
correct.
Yeah.
So all eyes are going to be on us, right? So what better of an opportunity to show the world what we're trying to do? So no different in this regard. You're still here in the Metroplex. You still have 6 home games that year. In both years, respectively. It's a great opportunity to get as many people out there as possible, and it's something that we haven't done since, correct me if I'm wrong, back in the Pony Express days. So that's a great opportunity for
Have
folks
we
to get out
ever
and-
played in
We've never
Arlington?
played in
We played
this
Old
stadium.
Old-
Yeah, we
played in
obviously-
Irving, yeah.
I know we played in Irving. Yeah.
But thinking about, even from a standpoint of players on your own roster, and I'm not sure if I really heard anybody talk about this yet, but even getting to see what it looks like to be a professional, to warm up in a professional setting, to go in a professional locker room, to be in the professional facilities, to go under the professional lights, right? We got some of that when we played at the Panther Stadium in the ACC championship game, but it's it's almost a different feeling, right? And how do you perform? And Coach Lashley even mentioned too, once you're playing on these bigger stages, right, as you hope to advance within the college football playoff, you're going to play on neutral sites, right?
Yeah.
This is like a neutral site plus in the event that it's 30
Yeah,
minutes
it's
down
right
the
here.
road, right? So I think it's a great opportunity for us to kind of get some of those reps under our belt, but also what better opportunity to show out and show that we belong, right? As we're chasing the next level of greatness.
Sweet.
Are we the home team in that matchup? Like, do we get the Cowboys locker room? We get to show them all that stuff?
That's honestly a great question.
I'm sure we are. We have to be. Like, it just makes sense.
we're the
I
home
think so.
team.
Yeah, it was our home game, so I think even though it's a neutral site game, would probably still be the home team. But
Yeah.
that's a great question.
That's good,
I'll have to dive into that.
Nice. You want to ask them first?
I was just gonna say we recently had a recruiting event. Yannick was able to go
Yeah.
to like
Got to
the
talk with
press
Coach
part of it,
Dodge,
yeah.
Coach Justice, Coach Ward. It was great.
So I just kind of want to hear an update from you on like what it's been, how it's been going so far. We definitely have gotten, I think, some great guys signed. So what's your update
Best
on that?
recruiting class since the Pony Express.
Correct. Yeah. First ever, I believe since they did this modern rankings, first ever top 25 class.
Yep.
So, over the past few years, you've seen that general climb and
Steady.
acceleration, right? Steady growth. I think it just is a reflection of everything that we've done within the program of kind of getting to that point, right? So all the things we mentioned earlier, from the investment in the infrastructure to support from the university, from athletic administration to the donors to the boosters, everybody, right? From the fans to the players, like it's a culmination of all that effort and energy that's put into it, right? And it's a multi-year process. This 2026 class, it's not like we just started recruiting them last year, right?
Yeah.
This has been 3+ years in the making of getting to this point. So I want to shout out the coaches, man. They've done an incredible job of really just locking in and prioritizing not only the high school recruiting, but then also from the transfer portal side. Like, we were very calculated in our processes of how we're going to go about like identifying even transfer portal prospects, right?
Yeah.
And we didn't miss on that many. I think Coach Lashley threw out
Said
out
one.
there.
He said of everyone that came onto campus, only one of them didn't commit.
That's a really high batting average.
That's
Yeah.
for the
That's
transfers,
It's crazy.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
yeah,
I
with the
think-
transfer. Sorry, yeah.
I think it's an incredible testament to once individuals are here, right, and they see what we have to offer, they see who we are as people, it becomes contagious. But no, I mean, they've worked their tail off to do everything the right way, and it's incredible that you see not only does our rankings are increasing, right, the highest rated class, but like the quality of people is also increasing. Like from Coach Grizz and the human performance, staff, everything they're doing. Like, these guys are so locked in workouts, right? They're holding each other accountable. They're really bonded together. They're pushing each other. Like, all those things that we've been trying to instill over the course of the past 4+ years. It's like they're not missing a beat, and they want to take it to the next level, right? They have high aspirations, and it's honestly an incredibly exciting time to be here.
Yeah. So, okay. 5 minutes left, so I want to ask about, we got Ziegler committed to 2027. How's he looking, and are we able to talk about anything? Are we in good battles? Like, what's
Yeah, so on the 27 class, I can't really talk specifics
Yeah,
yet since
no
they're not in a standpoint of
committed?
you can be committed, but you're not signed, right? So that's where it
That's
kind of
true.
turns
Actually,
the
yeah,
table
that's
with the
true.
26 class. We're actually able
Yeah.
to talk about them. All I can say
Okay.
about the 27 class is that we're really excited about the guys that we're
Bringing
in
on
contention
campus?
for. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a lot of fun. If you saw any of the home games this past year, the size of these individuals that were here, I mean, just from that alone,
Oh, they're
you're like,
imposing.
holy mo! Like these are like legitimate NFL prospect type builds, right?
Bodies are just
I feel really inadequate. That's why I had to throw on a jacket, right, to
Look
cover
bigger?
up.
Yeah.
To try something
Broader
some shoulder
shoulders.
pads,
Yeah,
try to
yeah.
be a little bit broader. But no, it's incredible seeing that, and then we'll see it more in spring too as we start
Yeah.
having spring practices open up and seeing the folks that come back through. I think it becomes really contagious when you have a few pieces of your class early on because they can help advocate for the rest
Yeah.
of your class.
that makes sense. Okay, since you can't talk about 26 guys, who are guys that you're like, man, I'm excited for these guys?
Yeah.
maybe you can talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's hard to pinpoint anybody individually. I think it's one of those things where it's kind of a culmination of the group. A little bit we alluded to earlier. Like we've got a lot of young receivers that are coming in,
Yeah.
and it's really from the last two classes. It's going to be so exciting to see what these guys have to offer, right? Because you have so many different pieces and builds and skill sets, and just from the versatility of how to be able to employ them, right? That's really exciting. I think the offensive line group that Coach Justice put together is
Yeah.
arguably the best offensive line group in the country, right? If you look at it.
It's phenomenal.
We have some of the late flips too. We end up getting
I was talking with him. He said and I looked at this afterwards. It was true. Every single recruit was rated a 4-star by at least one of the agencies on the offensive line. All 5 guys.
yeah, and it's an incredible developmental type position too. But you have these balls of clay that look the part, right? And you
Yeah.
get this ideal coaching in here. Really, the sky's the limit, right? And it's built in
Yeah.
the trenches. So offensive, defensive line. I think it's hard to pinpoint anything one specifically, but I'll say that they're all really busting their tail and holding each other accountable,
Good.
which is great to see early on.
Yeah.
So I've got a question. So in modern college football, you got to balance the recruiting with the transfer portal. How do y'all go about that, like in terms of like positions or like groups of need? Do y'all just try to go best available both ways? Do you try to look for certain positions out of transfer portal over recruiting? How does that balance work?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's kind of year to year, and then you have some projections just based on the size of your high school class you're bringing in. So it's kind of hard to determine what the best available is going to be, just because you don't know who's going to be in the portal until they're in the portal, right? So it's not like NFL free agency where you have that projection where it's like, oh, this is going to be unrestricted or restricted
Yeah,
free
that's
agent.
true.
You can kind of build your pool around it. We do a lot of like pre-portal evaluation and scouting just to see in the event that someone does hit, is this someone we want to go on? So we kind of have that looming in the back of our mind, but it's hard to build a plan around that unknown variable, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Mhm.
So you really want to take and build it. And I think Coach Lash has kind of alluded to this, right? High school is like our bread and butter. That's where we want to start. You want to build in the trenches, so to be,
Yeah.
in that. And I think a lot of teams you're looking at, that's almost more of your NFL draft, right, is those high school players. And your free
Yeah.
agency becomes your transfer portal. So that's almost more of a supplemental standpoint. Then you also have situations from year to year, depending upon the pool of players within your recruiting territory, right? So you might
Yeah.
have a year in the Metroplex where X position isn't very strong. So you might see more of a lean to a Florida, California, Louisiana, Arkansas, whatever the neighboring recruiting territories are. So a lot of it just kind of ebbs and flows from a year to year. And if you kind of allude back to earlier about being the DFW centered first, if you have an understanding of who's in your backyard, you can really figure out, okay, if we're in a spot where X position isn't strong, we need to go to somewhere else, you can kind of be ahead of that in that planning process.
Yeah.
Oops. I pushed the wrong button. Well, all right, we're gonna
Yeah. No,
we're gonna
that's
close out now.
thank
We gotta
you.
let this finish. But yeah, Bryan, thanks so much for being
Appreciate you
on.
guys.
Where
Absolutely.
can people find you on X?
Yeah, it's at Bryan Filker, so BryanFilker. And I've also been playing around on LinkedIn a little bit.
Oh, yeah. The LinkedIn's
noticed
been
that.
hot.
Yeah.
I've been following it all. I've been watching it. I've been following as
appreciate
much
that.
as I can. It's awesome.
Yeah, I've kind of
Keep it up.
realized too that there's two different pathways, right? Like on the X side, it's more really recruiting focused and alluring to those high school athletes. But on the LinkedIn side, a lot more of the professionals and hey, how
Yeah,
do you come get
development.
developed? How do
Yeah.
you kind of share
Yeah.
the wealth and knowledge that you have? So it's been really fun.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's awesome.
If you're good at football, get in touch with him on socials. sometime.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
If you're a high
Well,
schooler.
thank you so much
Appreciate
for being
you guys.
on. We always love having you on. You're welcome anytime.
Thank you so much.
I hope you have a great class
Yeah,
that you're
thank
going
you.
to after this.
Yeah, I appreciate
Get your
that.
doctorate.
Let's keep
Yeah.
rolling.
Come on. And pony up.
Pony up as always.